How to find out a term of an AP. So if we denote, well, let's use the gray pen. If we denote an AP by A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 and so on, then how can we calculate a specific term of an AP? For example, let's say I want to calculate the 11th term of an AP. How can I do that? Well, let's first get a few things clear. The first term of an AP is A1, or generally A. We write it as A, and the common difference, that is difference between two terms in a row when we subtract a term which is lower in sequence from higher in sequence. For example, A2 minus A1, the difference between two terms in a row is always going to be the same. Let's say it's D, and let's say the number of term, or the term which you want to calculate, is term number n. So these are the things we are going to use here, or notations we are going to use here to derive a formula to find out general term of an AP. Now you know that the difference between two terms in a row is always going to be the same, so it is going to be A2 minus A1 is always going to be D, and A3 minus A2 is always going to be D, A4 minus A3 is always going to be D, and so on. So if A2 minus A1 is D, I can write A2 as A1 plus D. I can also write A1 as A, so it's A plus D. Okay, let's highlight this. You will know why I'm highlighting this. Let's use the yellow one. A3 is going to be from here. A3 is going to be A2 plus D, right? Or you can simply say that the next term is going to be the difference between the previous term, so it is going to be A2 plus D. Now the value of A2, you know, from here, highlight, I have A2 is here, A plus D. I've highlighted with yellow, this one here, so it's going to be A plus D plus D. It's going to be A plus 2D. Let's highlight it again. Then A4, it's going to be the previous term, A3 plus D, or you can also write it here. A4 is going to be A3 plus D. So A3, you know, from here is A plus 2D plus D, A plus 3D. Similarly, you can calculate A5. It's going to be the previous term plus the common difference. So it's going to be A4, you know, from here is A plus 3D. So A plus 3D plus D is going to be A plus 4D. We can do some more, but it's enough to show that to see a pattern here. Now you can see that when it's A2, n is 2 here, then this one is A plus D. If it's n is 3 here, that's n is 3, then it's A plus 2D. A is always here, A plus is also there, plus 2D. That means it seems like n, if it's 3, it's 2, D is there. When it's 4, then it's A plus 3D. That means it's always one less than this value. a4, so it seems like it's n minus 1 here, here 2, n minus 1, and even here it's 1, so n minus 1. 2 minus 1, it's 3 minus 1, it's 4 minus 1. And similarly here it's a plus this n here, 5, n minus 1, that's 5 minus 1 times t. That means that any term you calculate, for example, if it's an nth term, for example, the fifth term is a plus 5 minus 1, you can also write a plus 4 is 5 minus 1, that's n, 5 minus 1 times t, n was 5 here. So any term of an AP is the first term a, which is always there, a here, a here, and a here, plus this value, that's like 2d, 3d, 4d, 5d, is always going to be 1 less than the n, the number of term, times the common difference. So this is the formula for calculating any term or a specific term of an AP. If you know the common difference, you know which term you want to calculate and know the first term, then you can calculate any term. Or if you know which term you want to calculate and you know the value of the first term and the common difference, then it's easy to calculate. So that's how you find out any term of an AP. An equals a plus n minus 1 times t.